Public and private investors are pooling $250 million to launch an advanced robotics for manufacturing institute at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. The U.S. Department of Defense made its $80 million award early this year in the waning days of the Obama administration. The federal investment will be matched by an additional $173 million by the partner organizations, including the Mellon Foundation, which helped to catalyze the project. The institute puts Pittsburgh on the cutting edge of a new wave of manufacturing technology. And Jay Douglas is COO of the Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing Institute. And welcome, good to have you here.
Good to be here. Thanks, Bill.
This is pretty cool. Of course, we've been building RoboBurg now for a generation here in Pittsburgh, but it all seems to be finally falling into place in a lot of different ways.
It is, yeah, quite a bit.
So where do you fit? Where does this idea of advanced robotics for manufacturing fit into the broad scheme of how robotics are going to change the world?
Okay, so we're a public-private partnership with money, as you pointed out earlier, coming from the Department of Defense. And we're going to match that with money and in-kind contributions from industry, universities, training organizations, things like that. What we're doing is using robotic technology to improve the competitiveness of U.S. manufacturing. Not just the technology, but also the workforce training issues that are necessary to create a workforce that's capable of working in these new, as yet unseen manufacturing environments.
Well, it's, where do we go from here? I mean, I remember those robot arms on those auto assembly floors. That's got to be 40, 50 years ago they started playing around with this, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of technology has been deployed in industries like, automotive for decades, literally. What we're going to be doing is doing research and experimentation in the use of robots in manufacturing environments that maybe we're not competitive in right now in the United States, to change that so that we could perhaps reclaim some of these industries, like for instance your cell phone or textiles, shirts, clothing, and those kinds of things that are not currently made in the United States.
So what, if finding new ways to use robotics and automation may reduce the cost of production enough so now these factories can be here close to home instead of overseas?
Yeah, it could, and making it more competitive, not just from a cost of production, but higher quality, maybe more innovative products, the whole thing. Lower cost of supply chain.
Got a for instance where it's already beginning to happen?
Well, we're brand new, as you pointed out.
In your case, you're not. I haven't had a chance to do much yet. But,
yeah, but I mean, there are some people that are looking for ways to use robots on the repetitive, precise tasks, and partnered with a highly skilled factory worker, and that's actually occurring right now in some automotive manufacturing segments. Those guys, as you pointed out, have been doing this for quite some time, and they're always looking for ways to innovate with the use of their skilled labor coupled with some new technology.
Well, it's interesting you say workforce development is part of this, because there is that whole question, is this an either or? Are the robots going to take over everybody's job?
Well, that's been in the press quite a bit lately. I think in the last 72 hours I've read 4 articles about the robots are coming for your jobs, but that's, well, number one, that's not what we're doing, and number two, I don't think that's the case. You look at an instance like Amazon in 2014, they made a big push towards automating their supply chain, their logistics operations. I think they employed close to 35,000 people then. Their workforce has doubled since they've put in that kind of automation and technology. What we see is as businesses become more competitive, they grow. As businesses become more competitive, other businesses spring up around them, and whole industries are created, and that's where workforce comes from. Workforce development and new types of employment. But clearly within that, as you alluded to, there's a training issue. These aren't the jobs of today, they're the jobs of tomorrow. And what we're doing is we're going to try to lead this out through looking at how technology is going to apply in these new manufacturing operations and making sure that the workforce is ready for that.
Okay. And then you can begin to align the whole K through 12 and career education and higher education system to be ready for it, right?
To start very young. You know, and I think in this we're looking at ways you know, to put robotics training, at least the beginnings of it, the fundamentals of it, into K through 12. It's not just in trade schools and where it's already in universities, but get them started early.
Yeah, only 30 seconds left. But so where are you now? You got the award in January. This is a real deal. So what happens next to kind of make this a reality?
Yeah. So have you finished it yet? No, we're just getting started. We're hiring up. We've got 4 of our first projects identified.
Okay.
They'll be funded this summer. Where these projects are going to be is not necessarily with us in Pittsburgh. We're working with 8 different regional robotics innovation collaboratives around the country, where we will fund projects for technology development as well as workforce.
And these are universities as well as businesses involved in
each one of these collaboratives is a research center coupled with a training organization, like a community college or an MEP, something like that. So that's where most of the research and development work is going to be done. And then we're a conduit for, if you will, managing this ecosystem to make this happen all over the United States. We have these regional collaboratives on the West Coast, in New England, down south, in the Midwest, all over.
So it really is a national push. Now, will you have a physical location here in our region?
Absolutely.
As well?
We're currently we're housed in the area where everybody else is in the robotics business. We're in Lawrenceville.
Okay, we get a little crowded down
there.
It
is. But we're in the National Robotics Engineering Center building. When it's ready, which we hope is in 2 years, we'll be at the El Mono site.
Okay, the old Hazelwood Coke Works site on the Monongahela River.
Exactly, yeah, so that's our plan, is in 2 years to move into a new building in El Mono.
Wow.
But right now we're in Lawrenceville with everyone else.
Great symbol of the region's transformation, though, from a Coke making facility ultimately to reinventing manufacturing with robotics. Really exciting stuff. Great to see it happening here. Jay Douglas from the Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing Institute.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Yeah. Next up, Alcazan's seeding greener approaches to stormwater management. We'll see how communities are stepping up when our region's business returns. Stay with us.